Great to be joined for the first time this season by Bill Barnwell. NFL season, of course, kicks off Thursday night. It's Kansas City and Baltimore. As always, Bill making all of us smarter about football. The always anticipated offseason articles about the teams that will regress. The column today about teams that will miss the playoffs who made it a year ago. And we'll dive right in with an NFC team who limped in last year in Philadelphia. They were in it for a short period. They got sent home quickly by Tampa Bay. You don't think they make it this year at all, Bill? Why?
Not thrilled about how they performed even before that ugly stretch to end the season. Even the victories last year weren't pretty. This team was 7-3 in games decided by 7 points or less, only outscored the opposition by 5 points all season. That is not a great way to sustain a lot of victories. Teams with that formula who make the postseason almost always decline and miss it the following year. And I mean, we're excited about Saquon Barkley and the additions, but the core of this team is always the offensive line and the defensive line. This pass rush dropped from 1st to 25th in sack rate last year. Now they lose Fletcher Cox to retirement. And there's this guy, I can't think of his name, this offensive lineman they had. Don't know what he's doing now, but I feel like an essential part of that offensive line is missing from a year ago.
Well, he's counting his money for their very successful podcast, and he's slumming with us on Countdown. We look forward to having Big 62 with us there. All right, if the Eagles don't make it, that opens up a spot in the NFC. And I don't know if it's Hard Knocks hype, I don't know if it's number one pick hype, but you're buying the Bears as a playoff team. Convince me, Bill, how?
Yeah, well, it starts with the defense. This defense was good last year in the second half. Second best defense in football in terms of points allowed per possession. Already playing at a high level. Now they get Montez Sweat, former Commanders edge rusher, for a full season. Love what Matt Eberflus has done there. But when teams make a big leap, like the leap Houston made last year, it's almost always because they make a massive upgrade at the quarterback position. Justin Fields didn't really work out there as a passer. They were 26th in yards per pass drop back last year. Now you add Caleb Williams to the mix. We don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be yet, but I mean, a very promising prospect, looked great in the preseason. If he's what we expect, an average or better quarterback, Bears are going to be a playoff team.
Right on. Bears were the last time the Bears won a playoff game, incidentally, Caleb Williams was 9. That was a while ago. All right, let's pivot to the AFC. You just mentioned Houston. They took a massive leap last year with a quarterback. They took second in C.J. Stroud. Now folks wonder, Bill, can they take the next step forward? You're saying they take a step back. What's the issue there?
Yeah, they're not as young as people think. I know their stars are young, but overall the fourth oldest team on a snap-weighted basis. A lot of veterans will help them get good quick, but maybe not the ceiling a team like the Packers or Lions do, where they're young up and down the roster. They moved from the fourth easiest schedule in football last season to the fourth toughest schedule in football this upcoming year after finishing in first place. And C.J. Stroud had the 14th best interception rate in the history of the National Football League a year ago. Going to be tough for them to keep up. Still a good team, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to top out the Jaguars.
Hey, he's incredible last year protecting the football. 23 touchdowns against just 5 picks. That was a remarkable year for Stroud. Their first 4 games, incidentally, against teams who did not make the playoffs last year. So Houston will be looking for a hot start. So if they don't make it and that opens up a spot, you like a team coached by a guy who won a championship last year, but that championship was in Ann Arbor for Go Blue. Jim Harbaugh makes that big a difference for the Chargers, gets them over the hump?
He absolutely does. He's a turnaround artist. Go back to the Niners. I mean, they had not had a winning season in 8 years when he got there in San Francisco. Got them to 13-3 in the NFC Championship game in his first season. Goes to Michigan. They had 1 10-win season in the prior 8 years. 5 wins the year before he got there. Gets them to 10 in his first year. Chargers were terrible in close games last year. Jim Harbaugh 17-7 in one-score games during his time in San Francisco. Great coach. He's going to get the players there to play better than they did in Los Angeles with Brandon Staley last year.
All right, so these are some teams you think can make the playoffs. I'm going to fast forward now to a team that you think is going to make it all the way through the playoffs and be the last team standing. This is a tradition, and you've been really good at it, mostly because you just say the Chiefs. Are you going to give me Chiefs again? If so, over who in the Super Bowl down in New Orleans, Super Bowl 59?
Give me Chiefs 34, Packers 20. Three-peat is on the way. My 5th straight year picking the Chiefs hasn't steered me wrong for the past 2 years, Scott.
Hey, I'm not knocking you or heckling you. Being right is what we're all trying to do. Bill Barnwell always making us smarter about football. Look forward to talking all season long, my friend.
Yes, sir.